For 2.2 SQL Server Management Studio Primer, I'll be going over 11 routine tasks as we're getting more familiar with Management Studio. So over here, we'll initially go over to our Object Explorer where we can connect our database engine. For me, I have all of this information already filled out. And when I hit connect, the server comes up. This is where we're going to be doing our work. Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and connect to our database. So we'll go back to the Object Explorer, select the Databases folder, and select the ECIT 143 database. Now, another way to get to this is once you start writing queries, your databases will show up in this available databases dropdown, and you can kind of access your different databases. Before we move ahead, I want to take just a minute to talk about Object Explorer. So what we're doing in Object Explorer is made easier by what Object Explorer is. It's a hierarchical user interface. And what that means is that it has multiple levels to it so that you can find objects easier. So when we only select the server, that's all we can see. But as we drill down, we can see that I can access the databases folder, and that databases folder contains system databases, database snapshots, AdventureWorks 2022, and then our class database. Next up, I'll go ahead and show you how to execute SQL commands through the query editor. For this, we're going to select our database, go down to views, and I'll actually pull in a file that we were given in class. This will help us to create our view. This will bring up the query editor, and from there we can go ahead and select execute. So this is a script, it's going to run by itself. We can see that the feedback is the command was completed successfully with a timestamp. We'll also do the same thing for tables. We'll pull in the file that we were given in class. I'll go ahead and say execute. It tells me 91 rows were affected with a completion time, and that looks like it was a success. We're off to a good start. We've got some views and tables created, and now it's time to actually go in and look at some of the information that's on the database. I can right-click the table that we created and select the top 1,000 rows. That's going to give us the first 1,000 rows of the database, and it looks like it's sorted by customer ID, customer name, contact name, address, city, and country. You can also create a script using this table by giving it a right click, script table as, create to, new query editor. So that's going to generate a script for the customers. And in just a minute, we should see the output of that script. That was a success. The script was created, and now the script could be used to generate all of the data from scratch. Next up, we'll go over some tools that we can use in SQL Server to understand just how our queries are going to run. So the first one we'll take a look at is display estimated execution plan. This is going to tell us just how much cost it imagines that this query would put on the system. Sometimes they can give you indications of any bottlenecks, especially when run in conjunction with include actual execution plan. So the include actual execution plan gives us an actual idea of the metrics of what it took to run this query. These are great tools to use and understand. These tools allow us to understand the complexity of the queries that we're writing and understand if those queries are going to cause any significant issues. Next, we'll go over how to filter tables. Working with databases, sometimes you've got quite a few tables to manage. So in order to make it easier to find what table you'd like, You can sort by name, schema, owner, durability type, is memory optimized, or creation date. And you should have drop downs for all of the operators. This means that you can find your tables much faster. It's not uncommon in SQL Server to have your text show up with code error indicators. I've already cleared the indicators from this query, but if you were to do that for any other query, especially after adding new objects, you'd go over to your Edit button, you'd select IntelliSense, and you'd refresh the local cache. This can also be done by hitting the keyboard buttons Control, Shift, and R. Finally, we'll talk about commenting out code. So for SQL in Microsoft SQL Server, you'll hit the dash button 2 times. But before I do this, I'll go ahead and just execute the code so you can see this is the result as is. And then I add a double dash at the beginning of the line. And once we execute, the result reflects that we've removed the customer name and the contact name from the query. We've just commented it out. So easily can be reversed by just deleting out the double dashes at the beginning of the line and hitting execute again. And this is useful for maybe adding in a little bit of extra description or removing parts of the code or the query that you might not want to run right away.